Everyone, we are on location live in New York City from the corporate headquarters, the international corporate headquarters of EasyBeasy. And we are with Shana Schlossberg, Jonathan Handler, Ben Friedman, and hailing from Chicago, Lauren Osman, and you have Richard Solomon, your host, and Paul Solomon, your co-host. And this is actually pretty cool. One of the things that the internet is great is gathering information, but it's not really great at getting things for you. So this company has actually solved the problem of finding what you want in real time. So I'm going to have Shana talk a little bit about what the company actually does, because I saw a demonstration in pre-production. It was really cool.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shana. EasyBeasy is a reverse bidding marketplace. So you come onto the site, you describe what you need. I need a plumber to come fix my toilet. I need a handyman to come fix my door. Our technology knows how to go and find all the plumbers or handyman depending on your request in real time. And in minutes, every plumber in the area will receive your request, and one click and they start bidding. So after a few minutes, you can receive, I'm around the corner and I could be there in a few minutes. I could come tomorrow morning, it'll be $45. They can bid availability, pricing, and if they can or cannot do the job. Anything you need, 1,200 categories nationwide.
So what are the? Let me ask you this. So this is both for consumers and the providers of both goods and services. So it works for everybody. So how does it work? Let's talk about the consumer side. I'm a consumer. I want something like in pre-production I was showing you. I want these great coffee mugs. I bought them a long time ago. I haven't seen them since. We broke a few, and a couple got lost on the move, and I want to get some replacements. And how does that work on the website?
Okay, so before I do that, imagine, just think about the cups or the glasses you want to replace, what you'd be doing today. You'd have to do a long online searches to see which stores may or may not have them, and you may find information that was relevant for a few weeks or months ago and the inventory hasn't been updated. You're going to have to call store after store. Some are busy, some cannot answer, and some may or may not have it, will call you back. Just a mess. They could take you hours, days, and maybe even weeks.
And also, how do I convey in that kind of search the actual physical shape? Because a lot of times it's just easy to say, I want this. See the picture, I want this. And I don't know how to do that on a word search.
For sure. And even if you call the store and you describe your glass perfectly, and they're like, we really have to see it. Can you bring it in? And then you have to maybe drive down there just for no reason. With EasyBeasy, you'd come onto the site, have a free text box, and you say, I'm looking for these glasses. You could say, I need 12, I need 24. I want to pay. You could even say how much you want to pay. I don't want to pay more than $20 glass. Add as many pictures as you want. So you add the pictures and you send it out. Our technology goes and finds every kitchenware, home goods, glassware, anyone who may have this, sends it out to them. Okay. And they all receive the inquiry. So they receive the email, they see the pictures, they receive it on the app, they receive it in the email, and they could just see it on their smartphones. If they don't have the app, they say, oh, we have it, click, hey, come on, Rich, come into our store, we can give it to you, this will be the price. We only have 6 in stock, but we can order 6 more. And the cool thing is also, we see a lot that the businesses receive the inquiry, and even if they can't match it, they'll tell you, we know who can provide this. There's the wholesaler out and wherever that we use, go to his site. Something that just saved you a lot of time, because they're happy to help. These people understand customer relationships. So you should have no problem finding these glasses.
All right. So for the consumer, is there any fees or any charges or anything that you have to do to actually make the inquiry?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
It's absolutely free.
All right. Now, so on the receiving side, okay, so if I'm the pitcher and I'm throwing the ball, who's actually grabbing the ball on the other end?
So the way the technology works is that we go out to find, and it's not we physically, it's a piece of software that goes out and finds every single business that it believes will have glassware, and it vets that they're real businesses, they're still operating. Remember, on the web, sometimes 50 to 60% of the information is not relevant. Stores that closed and are still active on the web, you don't know, you call disconnected number, the email's not working. So we vet to make sure they're still active and they're still there.
Broken links,
All of that great stuff. And they all receive it. So you can have big stores. I mean, we had inquiries where someone was looking for a piece of clothing and Nordstrom replied with a small little store on 14th Street. We have Best Buy responding to some of our electronics inquiries. And even with auto repair, Mako Collision responds, and also like small little Joe's Little Repair or Sandy's Mobile Shop. Like the entire range from very small to small, medium, and very large.
All right, so again, this is Jonathan, by the way.
Jonathan here. Hello, everybody. A little bonus to that on the consumer side. Once we find those businesses the relevant businesses for that product, you, the user, when you get the confirmation email, you can actually go and see all the businesses that received your inquiry. So if you don't have patience, it's at night, you want to make a list of who to call in the morning, you don't then have to go to Google, to Yelp, or any other service to go search for them and call them. You can see exactly who received them, call them, and you can see actually you click them, which I think Shana will explain in the future as well.
It's important because the key to EasyBeasy and what really drives us is transparency. You don't leave your information on the site and we go and, like many other websites, sell it off. Who's willing to pay for Rick's email, for his phone number, or all those sketchy websites that say, leave your information, give us 24 hours to get you some bids. None of that. You receive the information, you're absolutely anonymous as the user, and you see the 200, the 150 businesses that just received your inquiry. And like Jonathan was saying, you could track and see, okay, this one clicked but didn't respond. Maybe he didn't have time, but if I call him, he already knows what I'm looking for. He saw my picture. And that answers what you were saying, because, even if they weren't tech savvy enough to respond, if they didn't do it quick enough, and you're very impatient, he got it. You tell him, I just sent it to you. You have my picture. You have the picture of the glasses I want. Check it out.
All right, so here's the question. I am on the business side answering. How does it work? Is there a guy at Best Buy just standing in front of a computer waiting for the incoming, messages? And then how do they know that it's me to send the query or the answer to the query back to? How does that work from a mechanical point of view?
Okay, so if you had to imagine EasyBeasy, imagine like a sci-fi hub that, you have the incoming from one end, the emails go out and everything returns, but it's transferred through this hub. So you send the business the question, he replies, that is directed automatically to you, but through EasyBeasy to protect your privacy. And that's how you can converse back and forth, like you would chat with a friend on Facebook. It's being sent back and forth. So everything remains on the site. Yeah.
Another reason, I don't know if this is a correct percentage, I don't want to make anything up, but I would assume in 2014, to answer your question, every business has, the internet has somebody working with the incoming inquiries and et cetera. For even Best Buy or even the big names out there, they as well have, as she said in an example.
And this is really important. I want to make 2 points. First of all, and Jonathan is right, everyone has some sort of email. Not everyone, but there's that shoe repair that maybe you can't get to because they don't have an email. But more and more moving to smartphones. And one of the coolest things is that we have businesses calling us up and saying, we love it. We're going to go get a smartphone. If this brings us more business, how much does a smartphone cost today? So they're accommodating themselves to that. But another point is when EasyBeasy first came out in 2012 and I started talking to investors about this, they said, Shana, it's never going to work. And I said, why not? And they said, because businesses, no one wants to receive emails, they want to receive calls. The businesses will not play ball. And I said, you'll see. You'll see that the times are changing, like what Jonathan is saying, that the businesses themselves don't have time. And you'll see businesses that answer our inquiries and you call them a minute later and they're not answering. They're not in the office. They're running around. They're on a job. It's noisy and they can't answer the phone, but they could click and reply. So we have a higher answer rate to the emails than to phone calls. And if they're not answering me, they're not answering the consumer who's calling either. But they still were given an opportunity to bid for something that they would have missed if he would have called them.
Specifics and the details of the job. If, for example, you need to do over your roof, you explain what the size of your house is, what kind of shills you have, etc. They can see if I can service your needs, if I can help you, they won't respond. This way, you're saving your time on both ends. It's beneficial, both on the consumer and the business. I don't know how many businesses get phone calls every day asking about, let's say, auto repair, and the guy wants his car fixed by the next day, and then after the whole phone call, they say, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do it by the next day. And the guy goes on to the next guy. So this way, it's beneficial on both ends. You can see what the job is, you get all the whole description, you can ask each other questions back and forth, just like a Facebook feed, for example. When you post something and the response is the same sort of format. And that's how it goes on from there.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I was going to tell you an awesome story. A couple weeks ago when I was in the New York office, I needed to get a cab, but it was rush hour. And I was worried about how much it was going to cost. And so I wanted to get online and look for like a limo service or something. And it was also raining. So I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to catch one on the street. And if I did, how much would it cost? So Jonathan and I were in the office. He says, get on Easy Beasy and type your search. So we did. And within minutes, literally minutes, and we were busy, so we didn't have a ton of time to fool around and find a limo service. There were responses after responses. And some guy said, really nicely, really friendly, for $35, I'll pick you up. I'll be there at 5 o'clock. And I will take you. And it was like a no-brainer, because for me, I didn't have to stop working to go do this search. They came to me. They gave me the options, and I was able to pick. And as a consumer, it was incredible. It was so easy to use. And for them, they just got business that, if I would have gone on the web, you can't reserve a car that quick, or it just would have taken too long. So it was awesome.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems in the whole process is what I call the gatekeeper issue, which is like when you mail things to people, there's the mail room, there are the people who kind of maybe sort the mail for the ultimate end user recipient of the mail, and that person is making decisions on what may or may not be relevant. So I don't know, like for example, I like commercials. I like to watch commercials. My wife doesn't. I do that because I'm sort of in the marketing and advertising endeavor, so I like to look. So to me, like when you watch the Super Bowl, I like watching commercials and things like that. Other people want to skip all that at the VCR. But that's the problem, because everybody has sort of a different way of looking at information. So gatekeepers can possibly prevent you from getting to the right person. What you do gets rid of the gatekeepers and the intermediaries.
It gets to the right person only because when we go out and find the business information, we're getting the best email address for them that they put out and said, this is the email address to contact me at. If it's quotes ad or info ad, or if we have bill ad or whatever. And it goes straight to him. And many times you'll call in and the secretary responds, but the owner responded to the inquiry because the email went to him. So yes, and that's why it works so fast and so efficient. And Jonathan mentioned it, but it's an amazing filter for the businesses too. If a business, for example, I'm a high-end photographer and I only want high-end photography. If I have a Google Ads campaign and people are clicking away, maybe 16-year-old girls that want prom pictures, and I just wasted $200 a day for people that didn't even call because they clicked on my site and they saw high-end photography and they're like, no, this guy's too expensive. With Easy Beasy, we'll send him inquiries, some high-end. We'll try to be more accurate and send him, he may select a category of high-end photography, and then he'll only get high-end photography. But let's even put himself as a general photographer. But then he says, no, this is not for me. I don't respond. And then I'm not entering this marketplace for the girl who just wants prom pictures. But when that big wedding comes along or that big event, he comes in and says, this is mine. This is where I'm really good at. And the filter happens on both directions, because you're not annoying businesses, because the businesses just don't, the 200 receive it. The ones who say, this is mine, enter the marketplace and start bidding.
There's another bonus for the businesses on the business end. When, a lot of businesses, sometimes you're getting all these calls from other, all the other sites. I don't want to mention names. And you're getting call after call. And then you have no idea what happened. The guy explains to you the whole situation. You talk about a timetable and everything. You give him an estimate. You give him a little better price. But then he never calls you back. You don't know if he got a better price, if someone said he could do even more expensive, but he can do it faster. So this offers, even if you don't get the job at the end of the day, you can see what happened. You can see the outcome. Do I have to, adjust my prices a little bit? Do I have to, work on a better timetable, et cetera? This helps, businesses on both ends, and not just for consumers.
Well, because the thing with Jonathan is, and I'll just clarify, the thread is open. The businesses see each other's response and can outbid each other. So what happens is...
Oh, I love gladiator fights.
but it's exactly that, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, because it takes our transparency to the next level. The business will say, you know what, it's not the best time to paint your house, or you don't really need the exterminator because those are not real termites. Or he says, oh my God, that other business, we had one moving inquiry where he got 3 bids, and the fourth mover came in and said, how do you guys make money? You're so cheap. And he just understood suddenly that his market prices are not so great. He has to adjust, but he just got valuable knowledge that he wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. And that's how they could track what's happening. I didn't get this bid because he offered better supplies. He offered a better price, or he was available when I wasn't.
I know we don't have time, but I could show you my inquiry with an actual tow truck, an actual inquiry where they fought over. They had the same price, but the second guy said, "Big deal. I can also offer you $50, I think, but I can also offer you damage-free towing and a flatbed tow truck." I assume that means it's better for the car, but you can understand what we're.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about tow trucks. All right, I am with Shana Schlossberg, Jonathan Handler, Ben Friedman, Lauren Osman from Chicago Hay, and Paul Solomon, Rich Solomon. This is Taking Care of Business. We'll be back right after this. Keep it locked in. TCBradio.com. Richard Solomon, welcome back. This is Taking Care of Business. Richard Solomon, your host. Paul Solomon, our co-host. Ben Friedman, Shana Schlossberg, Jonathan Handler, and hailing from Chicago, Lauren Osman. So this is the team from Easy Beasy, and you're going to be seeing them a lot. So this is one of those cutting-edge programs where a few years from now we're going to say, "We told you so."
Hopefully not a few years, in like 1 year.
No. It's like no one heard of like Facebook and Google, and a few years later they were like everywhere. So it's going to be like one of these things where
we have a 12-month plan.
Okay, so
not a 6-year plan.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying that we're going to put this up on YouTube, on our website, youtube.com/user/TCB Radio WCWP. It'll be posted, and then sometime in the future, someone's going to say, "Oh wow, that was these guys."
That's right. Richard Solomon got us launched.
There you go. All right. So before we had our first break, Jonathan Handler was kind enough to tell us about something that he was going to talk about a tow truck inquiry. So why don't you tell us a little bit more specifically about what we were going to do before the break?
Okay, I'll try to get into as much detail as I can. We live in New York, obviously. I live in New York City, in Brooklyn.
Yo, Brooklyn, yeah.
Yep. Right. But I'm a Knicks fan. I am a Knicks fan. I am a Knicks fan, but I would root for the Nets if they're in the playoffs, which, we have a long shot. Anyway, so I was driving from New York, and there are a lot of potholes, as you know here. The weather's horrible. I drove over one pothole. My car's very low to the ground. I got to Brooklyn. My tire was basically off of the rim. Everything was almost off, and I got to, I think, 5 blocks away from my house. It just didn't go anymore. I wanted to get home and then deal about it later. I wanted to go to sleep and deal about it later. I decided,
I want to add, it was Sunday at what time? I think it was like Sunday afternoon, which is not a day that businesses actually are in full operation.
On the potholes. That's what it is.
No.
Potholes. This is,
But it's Sunday afternoon, so it's a really hard day to get any business. No one's there on Sunday.
So you're setting the stage.
I'm setting the stage for the power of Easy Beasy.
Okay, and I'm part of it. I'm the main actor. Anyway.
Maybe it's like a commercial break.
So no, this is where you go abracadabra. No.
But just so you know, New Yorkers think that the world ends at the George Washington Bridge. That's where the world ends. Nothing happens further than that. So this is the center of the universe where this incident occurred. Yeah. Continue.
Okay. Unlike every other American, I was very, very lazy, and I did not want to go out and take out the spare tire and put it on myself. So I figured before I do that and be like everybody else, I would just try to, see if there's another option out there. I had no idea. I've never used a tow truck in my life. I have no idea what the prices are. So I went on Easy Beasy, and I'm like, you know what? Well, I wrote exactly this. One of my car tires busted on the way home.
Go slow so that people can hear it.
Okay.
You're actually reading the inquiry.
Yeah.
This is the actual inquiry.
I am just a few blocks from my auto repair shop. In parentheses, I wrote about 3 to 5 minute drive. I was wondering what ballpark am I in to have a tow truck come and tow my car to the auto repair shop. Within minutes, within about 10 minutes, I started getting responses. They're coming in. I probably must have gotten 10 responses, but I want to talk to you about 2 of them. The first response was, "Hello, I'm Arson with ABC Towing, whatever it is," and he told me the price would be $50. But at that point, I was like shocked. $50. I had no idea what to expect, but I figured coming down there with the tow truck, etc., labor. Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot more.
I think it's fair.
I had no idea.
I think
If
it's
your car was getting towed by somebody else, it would probably be $200, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if you were towed out of a spot and you're trying to recover your vehicle.
I think if the Parking Violations Bureau tells you, then you're really paying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that happened to me actually a few times, which is a story for another time. But anyway, to get back to the story, he said it would cost me $50. And then a couple other responses, is it still relevant? What time do you need it done by? And then I responded to them exactly what time I need it done by. And then another interesting tow truck company responded saying, $50 is a standard price. I could do that also. But what I could offer you as well is I can offer you damage-free towing, and with the flatbed tow truck, which I assume is better for the car, like I said before. So my point is here that not necessarily will you get better prices, but they're talking to you. The business is talking to you, explaining to you what the situations are. Whatever it is, the guy would...
Look,
I'm surprised that they actually have to offer damage-free towing. I thought that was included.
You're asking for too much. But it's something to think about, because when people hear it's a marketplace and you're bidding and they're like, but I charge more money, I'll never get a job. That's so incorrect, because many times you just get the pricing. It could range from $600 to $30, depending on what you need. But if someone is charging more money, they get to say their story. Why? My cleaning service is a bit more expensive, but I'm only doing eco-friendly product. Because if maybe you would see on their website they're $10 more, you wouldn't know that. They can say, but I'm the best service. I'm always available. I'm always this. They can really sell themselves, and it's a platform for the business. These responses are open to the world. The next time someone could actually come and see this information about this business. Imagine if a plumber just gave a really good bid, or Ben can speak about his experience where he needed the exterminator who said...
Well, basically, this was an issue with termites. And
so what did you write? What was your query?
Basically describe the infestation. And
that's a brutal word, infestation.
Yes. That's what it was. That's what you feel like. Have you had termites in your home?
Yes, I have.
My
yeah.
wife would use that terminology.
Oh yeah, no, we called. But what I did was I called up my friend Nick Politis and I said, "Hey, who do you use for termites?" And he said, "You use this guy." And that was my version of this, but that was before I knew you guys.
So what happened was I got several responses. Some were just call me. Here's my number. Some were very specific. Some told me this may not be the season to treat them. You ought to wait till I think they said in September. That's when you should treat it for the next wave. This is over. The damage is done. Someone actually said to me, send me a picture of it, because a lot of people will tell you have an infestation when you really don't. So you don't really know what you have. So I found a dialogue with some people who really want to show that it's not about price, it's about expertise. Yeah. And to me, that was important, because I know certain things, certain businesses and certain service providers are not web savvy. They won't show up on Google. They don't know how to optimize their website. They're just doing their job. And this is a way to get to them directly, and they can respond by offering something that you become impressed with them, not by their technology, not by their where they're rated in Google, not by their Yelp.
If they're tweeting every single second. Because think about it. What will the exterminator tweet? I'm still an exterminator. I just killed another mouse. Yeah. And everyone says, no, you must have an active Facebook page and an active. But what he knows how to do is kill mice. That's his expertise. And he just won, not only Ben, because he was honest and he gave it information, but the next time someone's looking for something similar and gets to the inquiry and says, wow, this is a really trustworthy guy. He will get more customers coming in his doors from these open threads, because this information is on the web and it's valuable information that he just provided without having to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to tweet or I'm going to write an article.
I think what anybody could understand, and what you would have to do step by step to actually get the service, unless you know somebody. If you have a brother-in-law who had this issue and you can call him where you're happy, word of mouth is always great. But other than that, you're going on Google, you see a list of websites, you're clicking each one, trying to find a contact information or filling out a form, submitting it. That doesn't work in the real world. You want the interaction. You want to know who knows your problem, who's selling you, who's searching you. Why should I go keep searching and searching? I'm about to spend money here. I'd rather...
Right, well, because right now, until now, we didn't have a platform that did other things. 'Cause-
Exactly.
Problems with websites, like look what happened to me. I needed a specialized battery. So I went on to Google. It was for a computer, older computer, and I couldn't ask. I need it for a Linux system. I couldn't ask it. I ended up buying the wrong thing. So if I,
That would have been perfect and easy peasy. You know, it's funny because I pitched, I remember it was like a year ago, I pitched for a huge startup audience, and one girl got it, and you know, they the next day, it's 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. She puts in an inquiry, 5 o'clock Friday afternoon, you know, everyone's already going home, that her adapter, or her HP adapter that she had ordered, they just told her, wait for Monday. It's not going to be shipped before the weekend. And she can't have a computer the entire weekend, which as professionals, we know how terrible that is. And someone responded in minutes and said, come pick it up, I have it here. And it's an HP adapter that none of what, you know, sometimes they have for certain types or not. But that amazing ability for selection, which is very similar to your cup issue, just the match, because also he just got something that's perfectly for what he has, and the consumer is just walking away happy.
That's one point, Jonathan, here that I wanted to stress as well. This doesn't just apply for anyone listening out there, just to the general services like exterminating or plumber.
Cups,
Yeah.
glass mugs,
Like
mouse killers.
like Sana explained before, and I'll just stress on that, there are over 1,200 categories. I have someone, a personal friend of mine who was looking throughout Google for a specific lawyer, or for specific, lawyers that do specific
he wanted a
specialties.
banking attorney.
I'm not sure exactly what it is, but on Google you can't find it. It gives you a list of lawyers, but they have to call up to each one. So what he did is he went on our site. He said, I'm going to test you guys out. He sent it out. It must have been sent out when you get your confirmation. You could see everybody sent that. It must have been sent out to a couple hundred lawyers. 2 people responded saying, I can do that specific job. Give us a call. The point is, a lot of times, the information you need to put in, you're going to have to call people, explain everything, wait for them to get back, and this is endless.
But it's not only that, and the ability for selection, and he brought it up that, and you brought it up with the exterminators. Think about it. I come to Google today. Statistically, people have the patience. Google says that no one reaches page 3. No one searches page, and if you go to page 2, it's really like people with patience. People look at the first page in Google. That's why everyone fights for that position. And in calls, the Yellow Pages has statistics. People will make 3 calls. So you're making 3 calls to the people who are paying to be first, probably getting, and people were like, oh, he's in the first page of Google. First page of Google means that he's either paying money or he's tech savvy. It doesn't mean he's good. It doesn't mean he's been in the business for 20 years. The best exterminators are on page 40. Why? Because they have a lousy website, because they know how to catch mice. They don't know how to put themselves on in the first
Oh, the
page.
poor mice, the poor mice.
I'm sorry.
Taking a beating in the show.
By the way, any business, and for some businesses that are on the go, a lot of these businesses are plumbers or electricians that don't have offices with secretaries. They also have an app. Everybody has smartphones today. There's an app. It's very simple to use. There's notifications. It also works with Shauna. I'll let Shauna, talk about this point.
This is the next generation, boy.
The
That thinks everyone has
availability
smartphones.
is a big
Businesses and around the country do not all have smartphones.
Yeah, but now they'll start. And
I think what the key is what we basically pulled it down to getting it to the local service provider, especially around the country, where they don't even have to have a website necessarily, or a very functional website, but an email address. I think it's fair to say that is somewhere where we've already gotten to it. You get someone by email. And it's the great equalizer. It gives the person the opportunity who is not, in New York, in the center of the business of commerce, to be able to be accessible and to be able to respond to things that are usually not his strongest suit, which is technology and the internet. So that's really what it does.
So you've mentioned before that there's an app. How do I get this app?
Well, it's very simple. All you do is go onto the App Store and you click an Easy Beasy.
4 letters. Easy beasy. You don't spell it
easy,
out.
and it's easy beasy, just like easy peasy, but with a B. But anyway, I just also wanted to mention, Shauna was stressing the point, is another big point here that that is a big advantage for both consumers and for the businesses. The businesses can report their availability. You need something, you may find the right guy, the perfect everything, but he can't do it on time. In fact, sometimes you'll pay more to do it. I need my car done. If it's going to take 5 days, it costs me half the price. I'd rather do it double the price and get it done the next day. That's just me. But that goes for everybody. That goes for businesses. If I'm around in Flatbush or somewhere in whatever neighborhood it is, not near my home base, and I have a job in the morning and the evening, I could report my availability And
He's
and this-
talking about a new feature. We're a now generation. We want things now. We're not a Groupon generation, as people thought, that we're just looking for the deal. If I need something, I need it now. And because of that, we came out with a feature called Easy Now. And a business running around in the city could say, okay, I'm just in Shana's house catching mice, or should we finally change?
Okay, we got to move on to cockroaches.
No cockroaches in my house.
In New York, we like rats. That intimidates.
Well, do you know? Okay, this is trivia. Wait, this is trivia. Did you know that the very first computer bug was actually like a cockroach at the Stanford University computer lab that like ate through one of the wires? That's how they call it a bug.
That is
Yes.
funny.
I'm pretty sure. Is that
It's on a UNIVAC. No, on a UNIVAC system. Thinking when the computers took the size of a room and had vacuum tubes and big iron.
That's how they got the word bug. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to use appliance repair and he knows it's a 2-hour job. He reports, I'm going to be available in 2 hours. And maybe Shana's neighbor, Marcia, just needs someone in there, and she's going to get an alert saying, in 2 hours, there's going to be an appliance guy in your building. And she's super lazy, even lazy to go on Easy Beasy. And she just say, come down.
See, what I love about your product is that, let's say I have something esoteric. I'm a violinist, and if you saw in the news the other day, William Salchow, the premier bow maker, just passed on. So there is no one that I would know other than William Salchow to repair bows. So I would type in, I have an orchestra concert in an hour. I need a bow repair. Who can do
We could
this?
totally do that. And we get some really odd requests.
Like what? Now this is juicy. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we get some things that are, honestly.
Time out. You said talk about the concept of approval. Whenever inquiry comes in, there is a process. It's mainly technology-based, but there's a human element to approve it. So if somebody's looking for drugs or anything illegal, it will not get through.
And even less than that, you have to understand that although the businesses are not paying to receive, we have huge respect for these local businesses. We will not spam them. We will not send them something that's not accurate. Our technology does its best. Like you said, that even if you are a plumber, but someone wants a very specific thing, to make sure you also do that specific thing. Where our accuracy gets better every day that goes by, because we don't want to annoy these businesses. This is their living. They're super busy. On the other hand, there's also humans sitting in the back and saying, okay, he just said need plumber. We can't send it out. That's not enough information. What are they going to answer? I'm a plumber? Of course,
Right.
This is not that.
Yeah, because there are people who have the HVAC, and then the other people do boilers, people do oil to gas conversion, because it's just, there's all kinds of stuff out there.
For that reason, it's also a reason why our opening rate is so high. These businesses that are getting our emails, it doesn't say Easy Beasy sending you an inquiry that looks like spam. It says exactly who you are. John from Brooklyn is looking for a tow truck. That's what they get. So if you're a tow truck, you're going to open that email. You're going to respond.
The businesses respect emails coming from us because they're not pounded all day. They get things that are exactly what is.
So it's like a trickle, but
It's quick. It's not a long process to approve it. Like when we were looking for the cab the other day, it was a quick turnaround. So the process is not waiting long.
The approval is half a minute. It's like 30 seconds in quicker.
Okay, so how do you vet the people in terms of that they're not felons or anything like that?
The businesses or the consumers?
Either way.
So when the technology brings in the businesses, it vets that these are real businesses. And this is critical. This is not Craigslist businesses that are questionable and all that. And you don't know. You know that it's going to real live businesses, real plumbers. We have a vetting process that they must have. If they don't have a website, then we vet them. They exist in a few industry websites that are important.
I think this is something that she kind of glossed over, but what she created, I mean, we should talk about her background and what attracted me to this concept. What she developed, it's a technology that she developed on her own to be able to scrape the internet and put together databases of businesses that she put the criteria
but it's
together.
Not, we're not scrapers. We're not. This is
the scratchers.
Is that a bad word?
It's not, but it's actually lowering our technology value. Our technology is artificial intelligence based. It's a huge NLP, which is neuro-linguistic processing, to understand what the person wants. It actually does. It's cluster analysis, and it's rule databases. It's brilliant software sitting in the back, understanding what you want, and more importantly, finding the right businesses. And it works like a funnel. It starts with the largest group of businesses and then starts clearing them out, seeing the ones that are not vetted are out, the ones that are not accurate. Let's say you want a specific type of drain cleaning, the ones that can't do it are out, and it just gets you the most accurate number of businesses. And let's say you can't find enough businesses, because for this specialty, there's not enough. It knows how to follow radius rules and say, let's increase the radius and try to find. Because if it's so accurate, the business may travel longer distance. And let's go a little bit out, especially in low population areas, that they'll maybe travel an hour for a large job. It also knows if it's a larger job or a smaller job, etc. Very complex technology, very unique technology that's being patented now.
There is something we will discuss after the break, the nationwide concept for businesses. If you're, let's say, a web designer, you don't necessarily have to be in New York. You can do something in LA. You don't even have to be there in person. Or if you're a photographer and the job is big enough out in San Diego, and it's a big job, it pays well, it's worth it for you to fly out there. There is a way for you to get those inquiries as well.
All right, this is Richard Solomon. This is Paul Solomon. Taking Care of Business is the show. TCBradio.com is our website. You can catch us up on YouTube. You can just search under TCB Radio, WCWP. We are joined by the people from Easy Beasy at their corporate headquarters in Manhattan, and those calling in from Chicago. And we'll be right back right after this. So keep it locked in. We have one more section to go. This is Richard Solomon. Welcome back to Taking Care of Business. Richard Solomon, Paul Solomon, your co-hosts. We are joined here with the people from MyEasyBeasy.com. So we have Jonathan Handler, Shana Schlossberg, Ben Friedman, Lauren Osman. And they have a terrific business model, and it's really revolutionary. So I'm going to ask the very selfish question, how does this work for people like myself? So let me give you a good example. I'm an attorney. I'm a radio host. All kinds of things. Author.
Very handsome man.
Thank you. So,
perfect looking for radio.
Perfect. Exactly. And one of the websites that I have is something called 346broadway.com. And what I do is I do truck regulation summonses for corporations. So a corporation gets a ticket, they have to be represented by an attorney in criminal court, and it's something I do. So I have a website, and it's a very nice website, and I do okay on searches and things like that, but I'm not really getting the kind of volume that I would like to get. Especially, there's probably a lot of people who are out of town who are truck drivers, because I do get inquiries once in a while from people who are long-haul people. They come to New York, they don't know the rules, all of a sudden they're in criminal court, and then they have to be back in court, or they need an attorney to appear months later. And so how would this work for me as I'm a sole practitioner, no staff, I'm the only one who answers the phone, I'm usually out of the office a lot. How would this work for me to build that part of my business?
This is actually perfect for you. All you would need to do is go onto myeasybeasy.com, click register as a business, and it's free. You just enter all of your information. We allow you to dynamically select categories. So we'd create a perfect category. I don't think we have it, but exactly what you
truck summons attorney, New York City.
Attorney. We have 40 types of attorneys, so we'd actually create that for you. And then only inquiries that want a truck summons attorney would be directed to you. And if you may be one of only a few on the website, and that would be perfect. And when an inquiry would come in, you'd get it straight to your phone. You could be in court, you could be running around, you could be pitching. When the email comes, you click one button. You don't have to go onto the site and log on. It auto-logs you in and you respond. If it takes you more than 30 seconds to respond to an inquiry, we're doing something very wrong. Easy Beasy was created for businesses like you. I've been in the business world, in the small business world, for about 14 years. I come from the Yellow Pages world. I did projects around the world trying to change for small businesses. The world is becoming more and more confusing. Every day that goes by, there's more platforms and there's more advertising mechanisms, and there's more ways for you to lose to the larger boys, to the larger businesses. We walk down here the streets of New York, but it's happening around the country. The situation is really dire. Stores are closing down. The heartbeat of America, the small businesses, 27 million small businesses are fighting on a daily basis to continue living. We have situations where we're calling businesses and they say, we don't even have $10. And we say to them, take the $10 that you don't have, put it in Easy Beasy, get business. That's how cheap it is to be. They can respond to 10 jobs with those $10. They could, after a month, have a lot of money for it. The businesses are struggling in a way that we can't even imagine. And with $10, what kind of advertising can you get? If you're lucky, you could get one click on Google for what you need. And it was made for
And that's all you get is a click.
That's all you get
is the click.
And
Right.
here they have ability to respond to 10 active customers.
And when you pay for that click, you have no idea who's clicking. It could be your competitor. It could be someone playing around. It could be someone that thinks he's considering looking into, and you made the decision, you're paying for that click no matter what, blindly. In this particular case, you're only responding when you see something that looks good, that looks sincere, that looks like it's something right up your alley you can respond to and get the job. That's a lot more value to respond.
A lot. It's uncomparable. But think about it even in the direction that small business that is being told every day, you need a website, then you need to do SEO, and then you need a Facebook account, and a Twitter, and a Pinterest,
SEO,
and all that.
Can you describe what that, people, we use it as common knowledge, but SEO is basically the concept of massaging your website to make it look more used and more populated and more out there, so it gets itself floating to a higher number on Google. That's basically what people do.
Right.
And that's basically the same fight that everybody has, is to rise to the top in the internet.
Right. Which is why, sadly, a website loaded with photos is actually really not optimized. Let's say, for example, you're an architect and you have 100 photos of all your masterpieces. The search engines can't really figure that out, so it actually disregards that content, whereas in many ways that's exactly what you want to show people on how you do.
And it's even worse than that, Rick. What if you're an amazing architect who has a lot of pictures but doesn't have time to update his website because he's working all day? And his website was built 2 years ago, and it's not the flashiest, most amazing website in the world, but he's the best architect. How would you ever know that? You click on his website and say, no, I don't think so, because it was...
And I just want to say the best website is not necessarily the best for you, because that website where I bought the wrong battery from had gorgeous, and it had beautiful pictures of all kinds of computer batteries, which were completely wrong for me.
Right. I know that the search engines punish you for not updating your website, and the truth is, like the brochure site that I created for myself, for example, doesn't really need to be updated because that's the site. That's the site. It's not like if I added a blog, or it's not going to really change anything. It was really well built. The guy who did a great job. It's a beautiful site, but I don't need to update it just for the purpose of making the search engines happy. And that also takes away from my business too, because I don't really want to spend all my time updating websites. I want to do what you do, which is getting clients.
It's not only that you don't want to. Many of them, and again, you guys, it's a time issue. I'm a one-man show. I'm a plumber running around the city. I'm a landscaper. I'm the best landscaper in the city. I'm really, really good at what I do. And I have to do his house and his house and his house. We don't believe, so maybe I won't go out and say as far as people don't need websites, although that maybe is what I believe, but people need business. The small businesses don't need a Twitter account and a Facebook account and a Pinterest. They need business. They need customers knocking at their door. And we bring the customers to your door. Just describe. It takes you 3 seconds to tell us what you are, your specialty. And then you sit back, never do anything again with Easy Beasy. When someone comes on the site and says, I need a truck summons attorney, guess who gets an email in seconds to his phone and says, it's me, call me, I'm here. That's the amount of energy you ever have to invest in Easy Beasy. You don't have to update it daily and update it weekly and post and nothing. It's so simple for the small businesses. I remember that I spoke to a woman who does facials day one of Easy Beasy. I think she's the registered business number 20. And she said to me, I love the concept, but I'm in treatments all day. What do I do? And I said, you have a phone? She said, yes. I said, you're giving Shana a facial and say, okay, I want you to relax right now. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Terry's looking for a facial. I'll be available in an hour. Let's go back to your facial. Shana doesn't even know. You just responded to another inquiry to come in an hour. But that's all Easy.
So is that why Ben always says he has to go to the bathroom?
It's that simple. And it's so transformative and so simple for small businesses. And like I said, I've been in this business 14 years of watching what doesn't work. And I woke up one day and I said, it's enough. This isn't working for either side. Everything out there.
I'd love to hear more about what didn't work.
Yeah, because the truth is, as lawyers, Paul and I are both lawyers. Paul does real estate, and I do like commercial litigation and corporate transactional stuff. And truck stuff, that's just one bit. But what we do as lawyers, for the most part, is, at least what I do, Paul doesn't really do this, but I clean up a lot of messes. People come in with gigantic messes, deals that have gone south, people suing each other, bitterness, money, whatever. And if you can take the time machine and go back in time, you can actually see where the problem started. It was like an expectation issue, or there was an imbalance. I put all the money in and you were the idea person, and it was really not a good match to begin with. And then it just crumbles, and then people seek legal assistance to really correct what are either business problems or psychological problems. So
what isn't working?
So what isn't working? Because the truth is, we see damage and problems all over the place, but we never really see the things that really do work, because if things working very well, no one right, we don't get the call. No one says, "Hey, I'm healthy."
Well, again, think about it. The small business is told you have a business, you're starting a business, whatever. You need advertising. Go put magnets on people's houses. Go put flyers in people's houses. Go spam their emails. Go tweet for everyone. Just make noise. And that's not helping anyone, because at that moment, someone doesn't need a plumber. But what happens when someone needs the plumber, someone needs a landscaper, someone needs a photographer? No one's answering the phone. Murphy's Law comes in. No one's available. No one's answering the phone. You call everyone on the first page of Yelp. They're all booked for the next 2 months. Suddenly you're saying, guys, I need you. And, I had a great example. I met someone very big in the New York Times. When he heard about Easy Beasy, he said, Shana, I had an accident. And the second I had an accident, I'm in the ambulance and I get text messages from every lawyer, from everything. We're available. When I was all broken up, but when I actually needed someone, none of them that sent text messages were available. So the communication is all not working. They're being told, just spam, just send, tons of advertising, what I call bubble. They don't track what works, what doesn't work, and etc. The consumer, when he really needs something,
well, I'm going to give you.
What's happening? Easy Beasy just says, no, we don't spam you to win spam you. At the second that you need, we'll make the connection so simple.
I'll give you a great example. Paul and I go to a lot of trade shows, especially for the radio, and I'll never forget one time. We have T-shirts and pens and all kinds of stuff. And Paul said once, quick, name 5 companies that we have shirts for, or pens, or that little thing that we put the envelopes on. And the truth is, I can't remember. And we go to so many shows. We get free books.
And the little thing we put the envelope on, we use every single day. It's the greatest gizmo. But I cannot tell you who handed that to us, even though it's on their website is on it. Every day I stare at it.
It's white and blue.
It's very funny, because it's a small business, 1-man, 2-man show, maybe even a 20-man show. They don't have someone that's their job is to say, well, we spent this amount of money on that. Is it working? Is it not working? They're keeping things going along out of fear. They keep on updating their Facebook. They're like, maybe if I stop updating, I'll go out of business.
Well, you know what it is? I'll tell you what the problem is. It's conventional wisdom, which is everybody tells you that this is the way it has to be done. You incorporate, you do this, and what do? You take an ad out, you go to Craigslist, you go to the usual places, because people feel safe doing what's considered to be the norm. And then if you didn't make it, it's not because these things didn't work for you. It's just there must be something wrong with your business. But that's really not the truth.
And also, like you said before about Facebook. I mean, Facebook has a lot of people who take pictures of their own food, of what they eat. I mean, it's not a serious place.
I have a really fun. Go ahead.
I was going to say, even on Facebook, what's been cool is in the last week alone, I think I responded to 10 of my friends who have posted something like, hey guys, I need a contractor. Hey, we're redoing the back of our house. Can you help? And it's like my friends that are really tech savvy, know how to do this, really well connected, still don't know where to turn to find a contractor or somewhere to fix their house, or if someone was looking for a new car, wanted some help on some things. So it's provided, every single one of them I responded, check out Easy Beasy, and giving them that insight.
And it's an amazing example, because that's what started Easy Beasy for me. When I started thinking of what's not working, that was one example. Because I started looking at my friends' feeds, and they were saying, can anyone recommend a clown for my daughter's birthday? And I thought to myself, we're all single. Who knows clowns? She just has
we know Ben.
Who knows a clown? And everyone's like, oh my God, happy birthday. Oh my God, so beautiful. And she has like 60 comments, but no one recommended a clown. That's what Easy Beasy is. It's the social network, a dating site, which is, you need a clown, You will get 60 responses, but they're all clowns. You can actually say inquiries like, you could say, I have my niece's 16th birthday. What do I buy? And send it to every gift shop in the city and get advice back. Advice plus pictures. Hey, buy her this. Girls love it. You don't know what 16-year-olds love, but they do. So the flexibility of the system. And Jonathan mentioned this before. A photographer can say, I don't want inquiries, although I live in Boston. I want from the entire country. If a big enough job comes, I'm getting on a plane. An architect can say the same thing. I mean, sometimes we have commercial buildings. We had jobs like building a gun range in Dallas. I'm sure a lot of contractors around the country would have gone on a plane for that because that's $200,000 job. And the flexibility that a company, a hat designer, comes on the site and says, I'm a hat designer, I'm looking for a manufacturer, this is my specs, and send it to every single hat manufacturer in the country, nationwide. No one else can do that. So you could send local, you can send to the entire state, you can send to the entire country, and businesses are using the site as well. So they're businesses, but they're also consumers. They need a cleaner, they need a mover, they need a loan, they need a website, they need business cards. A business needs Easy Beasy on a daily level.
Look, I'm going to prove your point. I'm actually wearing a shameless corporate promotional shirt for my business, and nobody noticed this, all right? Which shows you how ineffective this is.
I saw the word truck. I figured you got it.
Right? See, that's why these things don't work. All right. See, look, here I am.
That's because we're distracted by your looks.
But that's the whole point. That maybe the shirt is only good as a uniform, for some purposes. But I can't wear this to court.
And you can't even measure how many times you wore it or how many shirts you gave out and what came back to you. Here, you see.
The answer is I gave out a lot and got Gavoich.
But here, Easy Beasy allows you to track. We had an example of a guy that came back on Easy Beasy, found a thread that he had posted a year before to move a tree, and said, "Hey, last year you moved my tree. I need you back to do another job."
Move it back where it was. It's because it was a different season. The sun was shining in different
directions. He didn't remember the business. He didn't remember anything, but he remembered in one of his emails he had the thread, and he came back to the thread and responded to the business. Everything's being tracked. You know who did what, and the business also knows he got this amount of inquiries. This he was able to close, this he wasn't. Go back, take 10 minutes and see, why didn't I close these jobs? I was outbid, but not by money. I was outbid by better products. I was outbid by availability, and become better businesses. Businesses, this is a learning opportunity for them. Easy to do.
What it comes down to is today's day and age, us Americans, we're so busy. We're impatient. We're always doing something else, whether it's going on Facebook or we're actually doing something. I don't know about everybody else, but I don't know about me. There's always a Facebook.
Facebook is basically a pacifier.
Oh, come on, that's my medicine. But anyway, the point is that we don't have time to go and search for every single auto repair shop or whoever it is that we're looking for and go tell them everything about what our needs are, what our problems are. This is so simple. If you have 10 different things that you need.
And I want to add one thing because we're running low in time. But what Easy Beasy does is think about the business, this small auto repair shop owned by Mike and John. He has a review on Yelp. He may have something on the BBB, and that's it. And on Easy Beasy, he may not have any reviews. But we pull the rates and reviews from 12 leading sites. So when you come, we don't say, he's not reviewed on Easy Beasy, sorry, he's not a good business. We say, no, this is his story. He has one review on Yellow Pages, he's a rate 8 on Yelp, he has an A+ BBB, and you get to see the entire story. And it's such a great service for the business, because the business can't run around town and say, hey, I just did a job by you. Go rate me on Yelp, go rate me on Kudzu, go rate me on the BBB, and here's the list, please go rate me. It's not possible. So they choose one platform, but then on the rest of the platforms, they have nothing, and they're not getting business from the rest of the platforms. So they're fighting a game. Not only is the internet not working for them, it's actually working against them. And Easy Beasy is solving that for businesses and saying, the internet is your friend. This is the tool that can help you bring good business, more business, good business at such an affordable rate, it's laughable.
And if your wife gives you a list to do, she gives you at the beginning of the week a list to do, at the end of the week, you got to do this, got to fix the AC, you got to do this, X, Y, and Z. You know how simple it is. You just let her know you're doing it. You come back
and say, what a great husband I am. Everything was done.
And if you're in Nowhereville, Alabama, it works just as well as it works in New York City.
It actually works in a way better. And we have tremendous experience in the smaller cities.
Let's say numbers. Easy Beasy is operating nationwide. We're at our almost at our 500,000 mark of businesses. So 500,000 registered businesses, thousands and thousands of users that are using this on a daily basis and saying, my God, this is it, the light bulb going off in their head. From tiny little towns in the Midwest to amazing things like we're doing now in Tampa and Kansas City and Dallas, Texas, California, everywhere you can imagine. The spread out cities, like they said, are super successful because people are finding dry cleaners and seamstresses and everything through that too.
Easy peasy.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to do an inquiry on how do you get more time in an hour. All right, so that was the fastest hour of radio. Thank you very much to everybody from Easy. All right, so anyway, we'll be back next week. Thank you for listening. Catch us on the web. Send us an email. Richard Solomon, Paul Solomon, thank you for listening and being part of our radio family. See you next week.